You know what you're doing, but nobody else does. So if you've got these products and these services and people don't know about it, then hey, what have we achieved?
Absolutely.
So a lot more advocacy, a lot more education in terms of letting the people know will go a long way in helping us see those numbers rise as quickly as possible.
So as an investor, what signals do you look out for if you want to invest in a business? How do you determine this business is investment ready beyond the presentation in the pitch or on the pitch deck?
Because those presentations can be pretty jazzy and you can be sold on it.
At the conference, one of the things we do is the business pitch. We get beautiful slide deck, really beautiful, just going a step further. How do you vet that this business is actually investment ready?
The demand. Is there a need for that product? So no matter how nice and fancy it is, if there's no need, it won't sell, right? Remember you said investment. We're not talking charity here.
Absolutely.
So we're expecting a return on investment. There must be an ROI, right? So the first thing, is it sellable? Is there a demand for it? Are people clamoring or beating down the doors to say, I want that product, right? Would you make a profit on it, right? The 5 C's of credit will still apply. Who are the people behind this pitch, right? Or this business idea? 5 C's of credit, if I remember them correctly: collateral, character, capacity, competence, I think, and then what's the 5th one again? It'll come to me. But one that I pay much attention to is character. Who are the people behind this business? Do they have a good name out there in the market? Or are they the people who would put out a product and say, oh, that one, nah, I don't want anything to do with it, because they have a track record or a history of bad behavior, right? Or just not have a good name in the financial industry or whatever sector that they're playing in. So who are the people behind it? It's a very big one for me, right? Do the ethics and the core values of these people align with the kind of thing I should invest in? So for instance, if you came to me with a brilliant idea, but it's to produce marijuana, yeah.
I know it to be a no for you.
And in a country where it's not legalized. If it was legalized, I mean, there's medical marijuana. People use it for the good. There's the good that it supposedly does as well. But where it's not legalized, and you could get into trouble. But it's a brilliant idea. All the ROI is off the roof. You can make $1 billion even in a year. I won't touch it with a 10-foot pole, right? So there's that. I'll look for that as well. The numbers, do they add up, right? So there's a great business plan, but the numbers, from ANAP again, we learned the famous phrase, numbers don't lie. So I'll check, double check, and triple check. This is my personal motto in anything I do in life. I check, I double check, and triple check. Do these numbers add up? Will they pan out, right? Another thing will be the sector that this is operating in and government body language in that area. Because we're in Nigeria, Linda, and when we run a business, you've got to think about all of these things as well. What are the policies in that sector in the last couple of years or in the last decade? Are there policy somersaults in that area? Because you can have this excellent plan based on these numbers, but we see how, the CBN, for instance, does something on the FX rates, and everything is upside down, and it goes south very quickly, right? Which has that ripple effect on everything else. Will it impact on this? Am I getting the raw materials locally, or am I bringing it in? Will backward integration have a part to play at a time like this? So it's all of those that you'll think about as well, right? What else will I think about beyond what I see on the pitch? Sometimes you also have to carry out some I spy work, espionage behind all that's been presented to you. There's this organization that was being funded and was supposedly on the face of it doing great, and then they sent in auditors to come and check the books and all. everything was hunky-dory. Everything looked amazing on paper. The numbers are there. It was just brilliant. And the day these auditors were to leave, the driver was taking them to the airport, right? They were like, I hope you're enjoying. No, not the airport. They were still around, but just taking them back to their hotel. And then, I hope you're enjoying your work. Your organization is doing well. They're taking good care of you. And the driver says, which organization? They haven't paid salaries in 5 months.
Wow.
And they're like, sorry, say that again. Say, yes, this is happening, that this was from the driver. And the auditors thought, but all the books showed everything was kosher, right, and above board. But guess what? They didn't leave. They went back, insisted on getting documents from that source, and that's how they found out there was a big hole and there was so much going on. How did they find out? Just one single conversation with the driver. So I say this to say, and like again, I say with every sense of responsibility, but if I'm putting my money anywhere, I will check, double check, and triple check that it will come back to me. So carry out what you probably call environmental, audits. Bless your heart. I like how you put that, and just get information that won't be there on paper. It's very important. But track record as well, it's important. Check other climbs. Has this been done? Was the return good? In case it's a brand new idea that hasn't been tried and tested in the climb that you're operating in. Have you seen returns come back? Because no one will want to throw away good money, if you can put it to another use. And you want to ensure that your money that you're investing will bring you that ROI, at the end of the day. So for me, those are the things I'll look at. Character, do the math, do the numbers, ensure that they all align. It's a great business idea. First and foremost, is there a market for it? Because no matter how brilliant the idea is, if there's no market for it and there won't be that quick turnover, then what's the point? Maybe a last thing will be sustainability. Is this a sustainable business, right? If I start today, will it continue? You can't go wrong. Abraham Maslow talked to us about the pyramid and the major needs of man: food, clothing, and shelter. You can't go wrong. So anything that's sort of like, a variation from all of that, right down that food chain. Somehow, during COVID, Linda, people were still buying clothes. We weren't going out. We were stuck at home, and people were still ordering, and I didn't understand it. And my question is, where are you going? You're not going anywhere. Why are you ordering clothes? But again, just confirming that point, that food, clothing, and shelter, the 3 basic needs of man, you can't go wrong. So I'll think about it. Is it related to it in some way or the other, right? It might not be food, clothing, shelter in that sense, but is it related to it? Because people will always need it. And if the answer is a yes, then I'm more open to it, But just that sustainability is key. 5 years from now, will this still be a going concern? Will it be a thriving business? Because will I still have probably the input, right? Maybe the products or the raw materials. Will there still be a market? Will that market be growing, right? Milk. Children will always be born.
True.
Milk will always be needed. So, it's a no-brainer, right? So just along that thought process, and you can apply it to anything. But for me, those are a few of the things, off the top of my head that I'll definitely look for behind the glossy peach or the fine-talking young person in a suit who even knows the numbers. But in my head, do the numbers add up? They have to add up. I have to clearly see that return on investment. And I know that, it might not happen in year one. Typically, you give a new business, 3 to 5 years to break even, right? However, if it's such a fantastic idea and it happens earlier, excellent. Great. But if not, even after the 5-year mark, will there still be that demand for it? Will there still be a need for it? Is there still a market for it? And sooner rather than later, will my money come back? I will consider all of those before I invest in anything.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. I'm sure that our audience, they're learning a lot around how to just be better prepared for investment. So just thank you. And I think I'll ask you the next question, right?
Sure.
From your experience advising businesses, what are 3 blind spots Nigerian business leaders constantly overlook that they need to start paying attention to?
Just 3?
Just 3.
I can give you 13. But yes, let's think about the most important ones. I guess the first thing will be structure.
Okay.
Risk management. Governance. I talked about succession planning earlier.
Yes, you did.
Begin with the end in mind. Don't wait until, it's a full-fledged conglomerate before you start thinking about succession. So that will be one as well. What else don't they look at? People. A lot of business leaders forget that people are the core of your business. And if you don't have the people, treat them well, retain the talent, then you're going to be shooting yourself in the foot in the long run. Let's talk about people. You go to the time and the trouble to recruit people. They're with you for a while, but you don't help them. You don't develop them. You don't strengthen their knowledge base. You don't give them the opportunities to step out, to fail even, but to get up again once they're good feet and they're right for your organization. Because when you do that is when you'll continue to strengthen the inner muscles, as it were, and show them also that they matter. It was Maya who said, people don't want to know how much you know until they know how much you care. You've got to show the people who work for you. I talked about our friend Sam, of Walmart, who will say, this is my associate. It builds the self-confidence of Frank, the janitor, right? And he will go above and beyond in working for that organization. So a lot of business leaders forget to do that. They just think, because I pay you a salary, I can tell you to jump and tell you how high. You don't, it's not the money that buys the heart or that allows your people to take ownership. It's how well you treat them. It's the effort you make to develop them. Send them on training, even if it's internal. Bring your friends and family who have, skills in some area you don't have to pay a lot for, and give them once a month, once a quarter, internal training as well. But just let them know that they're valuable. Constantly develop them, sharpen the axe so that they can be better and develop and deliver better to the organization. It's key to mention that, because honestly I see that a lot. They treat their people sharply, and then they're surprised when their attrition rate is sky high. Every other week people are leaving, they're dropping their letters, and you're surprised. Of course they will go, and they'll go to a place where they're treated better, where the little things. I've seen someone take a pay cut because the environment he was in was toxic, in his words, and he would rather go to a place where it was much nicer, much easier. He could sleep at night, but with less pay. So that's something that business leaders need to take cognizance of. What else will I say they should look at? Just a general awareness of the environment, right? The environmental scanning that we talked about. Sometimes they're just so insular and they don't look at what's going on around them. You can't be like an ostrich, just focused on your business. You operate in this dynamic, changing business environment, and so you must be able to get with the program, as we would say, or move with the times, or be quick to pivot if there's a need, to be nimble to do what you need to do. Shed fat here, do this here, cut product here, merge products there, elevate this service this way, cut out this service that way. It's just that it's very important to be in tune with what's going on, not just even on a local level, because we're not local, right? We should be aiming to be global. We should be aiming to be global. I mean, when the Ukraine and Russian war started, a lot of people didn't think it will impact anything in Nigeria. Very soon we found out, and for the savvy, we knew immediately that we're talking about wheat, we're talking about oil, and all of these things flow in some way or the other in our country. So the world hasn't been left unscathed with that war, even though we're as far away as from Russia or Ukraine as we are. But for the people who were uninformed, they just thought, they're fighting, it will impact on you. So any savvy businessman, any good businessman or woman has to take into consideration what's going on in the world. It all impacts. There's that domino effect, whether we like it or not. And maybe one other thing I'd like to talk about is strategy, right? A lot of businessmen and women don't have a long-term strategy. They're thinking of the now, just this year. You must have that medium to long term. You must have the short term, the medium term, and the long term strategy. What do I want to have happen in 1 year in my business? What will happen in 2 to 5 years, medium, right? What will happen 10 years from now? Begin with the end in mind. Go long, right? Don't think about now. So sometimes you may be pound wise or penny foolish to be pound wise in the long run, as if you permit me just to juxtapose that that saying. But it helps when you're thinking far ahead, not short term, not quick gains, not returns. Deferred gratification. You don't have to make the millions back now. That return on investment will come. Plow back the whatever it is that comes in the first year or two. Don't be in a hurry to take what you've got now. If in the long term you putting that in will be more beneficial for the business and of course ultimately for you as a beneficiary in the long term, right? So there's that as well. I could go on and on, but for me, I think probably you said 3, so let me respect that and try and keep to the
for
3.
the sake of time,
there's that.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. So what's one lesson from your early years of your career that has shaped how you advocate for financial inclusive solutions today?
The fact that you have to be designing for the people who need the products. So let's talk about women. We talked about a few financial institutions who have brought products out for the women. I can bet you my little finger that a lot of them just sat and designed it for women, not with women. So don't let it be, let's move from designing for women for designing with women and by women where possible. So very early on in my career, went and sold a product. The young man, the man, not young, listened, right, and all of that. And then by the time he poked all the holes in everything we were trying to sell to him, I then understood that, but you didn't ask us. We're the ultimate users and the beneficiaries of this product. Did you even carry out a survey to understand if this will be beneficial, if we wanted it or needed it? The answer at that time, I'm embarrassed to say, was a no, right?
Yes.
But it was a lesson I never forgot to say, you know what? Whenever you're doing, whatever you're doing, the ultimate beneficiary, the people who will be impacted in one way or the other, the stakeholders, whatever way you slice it or dice it, have got to be a part of the iteration process. They should co-create with you so that what you're bringing out, you'll even save a great deal of time, money, and energy and not have to go back to the drawing board when you get the feedback later that, no, this ain't working. But if you had started that process, beginning with them in mind, co-creation, then you save up a lot of time, money, and energy even, right, in doing all of that. So whatever you're doing, do it think about the ultimate beneficiary. It's not about just churning out a product for product's sake or rolling out a service for service sake. I've got a criteria or quota, we must deal it. My department is the products division, and so products must come out of us. Of what use is it if the product comes and it's not beneficial to whoever it is you're going to be selling it to? So start with that, with them, the people who it's meant for, and co-create with them. And that was a lesson, like I said, I learned early on in the business. And so everything I do, I don't even send a proposal to anyone as a client. I will go sit with the person first and say, what exactly are the problems?
Exactly.
What do you hope to achieve? What do you want to see differently? I never just come with a proposal. No, it's a first meeting, would like to come with that pitch, try and impress and all of that. But I could bring you something, I could bring you a B when all you really wanted was a C, right? So I start from that very base point to say, understand the problem. Seek first to understand before being understood, right? Very important. So that for me essentially formed my thinking and my views around that, and that's where I'll always start from as a basis. Does that answer your question?
Of course it does. Amazing. I mean, it's been I'm having a good time talking to you. I wish we had more time, but I'll ask you one last question.
Shoot.
And that is, if you had 120 seconds in a room filled with overwhelmed entrepreneurs, what would you say to them?
In a nutshell, I'll probably just say to them, step back, take a break. Burnout is real. There's such a thing as burnout. It's very real. And with entrepreneurs, you think because it's your business, you started, it's your baby, you can't even step away at any point in time. Oh my goodness, you're setting yourself up for this kind of situation. So you need to be able, and that's why we talked about having structures in place, right? And having a succession plan. You can't be the be it all and end it all of the business. Things can't fall apart when you're not there. That's not a good business model. So ab initio, from the get-go, you must build that business in a way that there's someone to step in when you're not there. You're raising leaders. Remember I said that earlier on. You're raising people, you're equipping them. That's why you have to train your people. That's why you have to retain them, ensure that you're burnishing the talents in the group and ensuring that they're growing. Don't go for a meeting alone. I learned that from Shola David Boa. She was one of the principles she taught us at the time. You know, when you're going for a meeting, take juniors along with you. Let them even watch the interaction, you know, that you're having with the client, and they can learn. Even by osmosis, I jokingly say, just being around you, they can pick up a few things, right? So if you've done that from the get-go, from the beginning, you won't ever come to this point, maybe not ever come to the point where you're just weak and tired and you're about to just throw in the towel and quit. But remember that it's your baby, and what you've got to do at that point in time, if you've got into that, is to step back. It's allowed. It's okay for you to take a vacation, take a hiatus from that role. If you have a successor, you've built up someone who can hold the fort while you're out, take a 6-month break. It will do you a world of good. You can come back rejuvenated with fresh ideas for the business. You can come back, and if you don't even come back and you have built a solid business, you can hand over to someone else.
Absolutely.
You can find, pivot and go somewhere else. Maybe it was that I was, you know, the way we were doing it was all manual and all of that, and it just drained me. I come back, and we're in the AI age, right? So the AI frontier. You don't have to do anything manual anymore. You know, you bring that into the business. You digitize, make things faster, smarter, easier. There are ways around all of that. But first, take a break. You know, go find yourself again. Just even be sure that this is what you want to continue to do. I said to someone the other day, there's no point climbing a ladder, getting to the point of the ladder, and realizing that I was leaning against the wrong wall. But if you do find that it is so, please come down. Our friend Gloria Dozier will say, you're not a tree. You're not planted there. So come down, take that ladder, move, and go and put it against the ladder and start climbing from then on.
Absolutely.
Give yourself permission to mentally check out, take a physical vacation, and then when you decide this is what you want to do, or you want to pivot or go in another direction, then by all means do it. It's your business. But quitting is not an option in the sense that you throw it on and then you go, unless you're going off to some island to go and sip pina colada for the rest of your life. But if you've got a business that you've got to come and you've built something solid, and that's why also, again to the bit about succession, if you've built something solid, it can outlive you. You don't have to be there for it to keep going and remain a going concern, right? If the structures are in place, you have the right people, you've develop them, they're talented, they know what it's about, and they can move it forward. You can leave that business, become a serial entrepreneur, go on to the next thing. You might have a passion for something else. AI for me is one area I think I definitely need to go and learn a bit more, you know, so I can leave my business and go and focus and see maybe there's also another business opportunity there. And if it's not there, it's okay. I move on to the next good thing, right? Not bounce about like a rubber ball, but just be intentional and purposeful in self-discovery or in exploring new business terrains. And if it doesn't work, on to the next thing.
Absolutely.
You don't have to remain there or die there.
Absolutely.
That will be my view.
I love that. I think you've done 4 minutes, but it's okay.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's always a pleasure talking to you, BMG, honestly. And I'm sure you know this, right? It's thank you for honoring our invitation. For every time we've reached out to you, that's always been a yes. So we look forward to having you soon, maybe at the conference next year.
The pleasure will be all mine.
Awesome. So thank you to our viewers for tuning in. We have been talking to the CEO of BMG 7 Limited, Binta Max-Gbinije. See you next time. I'm Coach Lindauneze.